Hi, I'm therapist Abby. What's your name?
I'm Carly.
Nice to meet you. What brings you in today?
I think I have anxiety and depression.
Great, that's totally fine. That's very common among teenagers.
Well, I'm like 19 and my roommate said that I should come try counseling and just see if it helps. So.
Yeah, totally. Great. So we're going to go through 3 different types of psychotherapy, and we're going to see which one best fits you. And I'm going to ask you some questions along the way and just see how it goes. So first we're going to do psychoanalysis, and we're going to try to gain some insight into your subconsciousness.
Okay.
And a philosopher that actually is super into this type of therapy was Freud, and he really focused on the unconsciousness and wanted to help find the conflict within this unconsciousness. And so we're gonna figure out some techniques along that way. And so what's a childhood experience that you remember where you felt anxious?
My parents, actually just my mom. My dad left the family when I was little. I was like 2. My mom would take us out to like the playground and stuff, and before we could leave to play with my cousins and friends back home, she'd tell us we had to make like 2 friends at the playground and talk to 2 new people, and I always felt super stressed by that. Like, I would almost start shaking and just cry, and she'd say, you can't leave until you make 2 new friends.
Yeah.
So I'd often go up to some of these kids finally and like be, tear-streaked and sometimes crying and just like, hi, and it just didn't even, I don't know, it just super stressed me out. So I never liked going to the playground, and I kind of struggled with making friends ever since that too.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I have good roommates, and they're the ones that asked me, are you anxious? Are you depressed? And I was like, I don't know. And they're like, well, you haven't left your room in a few days, and like, you seem pretty stressed out about things. And I was like, yeah, I'm super stressed about everything all the time. And so anyway, they've been good friends to me. So it's like I can make friends.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next sort of therapy, which is behavioral therapy. And these are behaviors that are learned and trying to change them. And behavioral therapy really focuses on the principles of conditioning and want the unhealthy behaviors to be altered and really focus on the present and focus on the problem now. And a philosopher that really focused on this was Hobbes, and he really wanted to focus on the behaviors like the emotions, passions, and so we're going to try to figure out a little bit how this relates to what you're experiencing. So what does your typical day look like?
In finals or just normal?
Yeah, let's do normal.
Okay. I usually wake up around like 9:30 or 10 and jump on my phone, scroll through social media, and realize like I'm hungry, so I get out of bed. Probably about 10:30, meander downstairs and grab a bowl of cereal and maybe say hi to one of my roommates if they're home, and then go back upstairs and eat more cereal while I'm laying there in bed, and scroll through social media more, and it starts to become time. I need a shower. I haven't felt like showering that much very often, but it starts to smell bad. You got to shower, so shower, and then I don't know. if I feel like it, I'll go to class. I have class at noon, and then after that I have a break in between my next class, so I will go grab a snack on campus, and then go to my next class. And I actually have one more class a little bit later at 4 or 5, but I'm so tired by that point, and it's a big deal for me to even go to those first two that I just am I don't go to that last one. I'll go home and Netflix and eat dinner with Netflix and scroll through social media some more, kind of feel what's the point, and then I go to bed.
So we're going to figure out a little bit of relaxation techniques to try to help these feelings that you're experiencing. And so also to help is going to be exposure therapy. So when you start to feel these phobias of going out, or also using counter conditioning. So we want to replace the bad feelings with something better. And so a way to help this is maybe setting goals, and by setting time limits on your phone. This could help, just so you're not scrolling on social media as much. Setting a goal to go to class and try to go to that last class at least just once or twice a week, which would help. And just learning some relaxation techniques to help calm the anxiety.
That could be good.
Okay, so next we're going to use the humanistic approach, and this is very person-centered therapy, and we really want to focus on the positive of Carly's life, and we want to focus on how to improve her life, and this is through self-awareness and self-acceptance. So instead of trying to tell yourself, I have a mental illness of anxiety, depression, you kind of think of it as more of a positive light, I have these things, but I still can find ways to help cope with these feelings that you're experiencing. And a technique with this is mindfulness, and this will grow your toolbox.
Okay.
And so let's go through them. So basically you're using all your 5 senses because you want to focus on the now and present and trying to feel what you can control. And so basically you want to go through 5 things that you can see, then 4 things you can feel, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can taste, and 1 thing you can the last one is hear. So someone that also really focused on this idea was Locke. He wanted to focus on the world's approach and get an understanding of it. And Gestalt, he also focused on your thoughts and feelings now rather than the root cause. And so let's talk about that a little bit. What sort of feelings do you feel right now? Are you feeling anxious or depressed?
I think I feel both. I think I feel a little bit anxious about just what's the point of even therapy in some ways, or just school. I feel a little depressed because of that. I feel, comfortable. I feel comfortable talking. I feel that's it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing those. Okay, so thank you, Carly, for joining me today on my 3 different types of therapy. And there's different types of therapy out there, and it's good to figure out which one is most helpful to you and helps you feel the best at the moment. And there are definitely different options to find, because you are not alone, and anxiety and depression are a huge and very common thing among teenagers. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks. I look forward to using some of those techniques. I think that'll be good.